Southbound 270 is a little busy from Olive down to Ladue, from 64 all the way down to Gravois is just, again, kind of crowded. 44 is getting better as well, but there's still a bit of a backup through Elm. But from about Edgar out to Lindbergh, it's just kind of busy. And southbound 55, the worst of it's a slowdown south of River de Pere, the Rivas Barracks, but then you're good to go all the way down through Festus. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Let's keep things kind of gloomy for any evening plans. Lots of clouds, still a little bit of drizzle around. Low 40s should do it for any evening plans, so that's not too bad. Though tonight, a steady rain will be spreading back into the picture. All rain. 40 for the overnight low. On Wednesday, periods of rain. It's warmer Wednesday afternoon with a surge to 52 degrees. Still some rain around Wednesday night, 42. Thursday, very limited rain showers. In fact, much of the day should be dry on Thursday, though still lots of clouds and 55. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Be careful, some dense fog in some areas. St. Peter's has 42 degrees right now, 44 in Florissant, and downtown at the Arch, it's 44 degrees. I'm Maria Kina, KMOX News.
From KMOX Sports.
Okay, boys, here we go.
Welcome to the Graybar Sports Open Line.
Goldschmidt swings, and he hits a drive.
He hits a slammer. Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Here we go.
Now, Matt Pauley on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
All right, man, let's get going here.
Here we go. Let's go.
On a Tuesday night, we do welcome you into another Graybar Sports Open Line here on KMOX. Great to have you with us. My name is Matt Pauley. Have you for a full 2 hours tonight. We'll take you till 8 o'clock this evening. We've got a lot to get to. The Baseball Hall of Fame voting results were released about an hour ago. If you've not heard, we'll go through that and what it means for other individuals moving forward. We'll talk some Blues hockey. They are in action tonight. We'll talk some City SC. Bill McDermott is set to join us at about 6:35 as Mr. Soccer will get with us. Talk a little bit about what happened with Miguel Perez being loaned to a USL Pro team and what that means for really his prospects moving forward. Next hour, we'll do a fair amount of football, fair amount of Chiefs. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes during the 7 o'clock hour, our weekly conversation with him from our sister station, 610 Sports. Speaking of 610 Sports, good friend Alex Gold is going to join the program. And then next half hour or next hour at 7:35, Jay Jaffe is going to talk to us. There is nobody who is more on top of Hall of Fame voting, Hall of Fame credentials, who should be in, who should not be in. He literally wrote the book on it, and Jay Jaffe's going to join us at about 7:35. So that gives you a rundown of the show today. I was happy to see multiple individuals got elected to the Hall of Fame. I'm a more guys need to be in the Hall of Fame guy. I just there's some people who want to keep it very small, and you know what? That's their right as a voter. If you're a member of the Baseball Writers and you've been a member long enough that you have voting rights, you can take it any way you want to take it. I'm not a baseball writer. I'm never going to have a vote in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but my take has always been there are a lot of deserving individuals who are not being elected. Sometimes I look at the ballots and I kind of go, one of the things I never understand whatsoever. You'll have somebody who votes for somebody, and then they won't vote for them for the next year. Yet it's not a situation where maybe a bunch of guys became eligible and they had a full ballot, so somebody got pushed out. Like if you're allowed to vote for up to 10 players each year. If you always have 10 players on your ballot, and then 2 or 3 guys become eligible, and you think they're all Hall of Famers, and they push somebody off that you voted for the previous year, that makes total sense to me. I get that. But the writers out there who remove players from their ballot from one year to the next, and they don't have a full ballot, it's not because they're voting for players for the first time. I've never understood that. Sometimes you get the voters out there who say, well, I'll vote for this guy next year. I'll vote for this guy next year. Yet they don't have a full 10 players selected on their ballot. Then vote for them this year. They're not going to do anything this year that makes them more worthy for the Hall of Fame. So rant over the 3 players who have been elected to the Hall of Fame, and I think all very deserving: Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, and Joe Mauer. I'm probably most happy about Todd Helton getting elected. And I'll tell you, I worked in the Rockies organization for a while as a minor league broadcaster. And so I've got some, I don't have a lot of respect for the organization because of the way that they do things, but at the same time, I have some admiration for people who have been part of that organization, some individuals, and Todd Helton absolutely is one of those guys that I have a lot of admiration for. And we were going for a while where it felt like anybody who played in Colorado was going to have their offensive numbers completely dismissed by Hall of Fame voters. And sure, does the ball fly a little bit more in Colorado than other parks? Yeah, absolutely, it does. But we never punish guys who play in other ballparks that are good for their skill set. Colorado is the only ballpark where we ever basically punish individuals for having played part of their career there. And I think it's bogus. I think it's completely bogus. I think you look at what some of these guys have done in other parts of their career and when they've gone to played games in cities other than Denver, and you see what their numbers are. So it felt like things started to shift a few years ago when they got Larry Walker in. I was obviously very happy about Walker getting in, and it looked like they were going to get Todd Helton in sooner than later. And indeed, Helton is into the Hall of Fame. Billy Wagner, this one hurts a little bit. 5 votes short. 5 votes short for Billy Wagner. He came in at 73.8%. You need 75% of the vote. 73.8%, 5 votes short for Billy Wagner. Next on the list, it goes down a little while. Gary Sheffield in his 10th and final year on the ballot. So now if Sheffield's ever going to get into the Hall of Fame, it's going to have to be through one of the eras committee, as Sheffield came in at just 63.9% of the vote. That's, again, there was one report about PEDs with Sheffield. He was never super attached to them, but there was just enough smoke there that I feel like his candidacy is being impacted by that. You look at his numbers, that guy's a Hall of Famer. Andrew Jones came up with 61.6%. I read something that maybe it was in the last year and a half, maybe it was around this time last year when a lot of talk about Andrew Jones and whether or not he's a Hall of Famer. What's really interesting is go look at Andrew Jones's numbers and then go look at Jim Edmonds' numbers. And it's interesting that Jones is getting 61% of the vote and Edmonds was off the ballot very, very quickly. I'm not sure if Jim Edmonds is a Hall of Famer or not, but his career was very similar in many ways to Andrew Jones. So Jones should not be getting as much votes that he's getting if the same people who are voting just basically gave no look at Jim Edmonds. So that's some of my early thoughts on this. If you've got any thoughts, we'll take we'll take your text messages if you want to get in here on how you're feeling about this voting. You can text into the program 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900, or you can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. If you've got thoughts on the Hall of Fame voting, who you'd like to see get in, we'll certainly talk about that coming up in just a moment as we roll on with the Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Nobody wants a surprise in their jelly donut. It's Toothpaste? That's because the middle is the most important part. At Graybar, we're at the middle of electrical and datacom jobs across the country, connecting installers, facility managers, and business owners with smart solutions for their most challenging projects, which means stocking and delivering crucial products on time and on budget with no surprises, thanks to our nationwide logistics network. Yep, Graybar does that.
We all have different ideas of the perfect retirement, but they all depend on the same thing: not running out of money. Steve All and the team at the All Financial Group can help you develop a retirement income stream that fits your idea of the perfect retirement. Call 636-230-8824 or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC. The All Financial Group and Retirement Wealth Advisors are not affiliated. The All Financial Group is a financial services firm that offers a broad array of products and services, including life insurance and annuities, licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
The NFL playoffs live on Odyssey. Westwood One brings you all the action from the AFC and NFC championship games, streaming live on the free Odyssey app. First, it's Kansas City and Baltimore.
Spinning touchdown catch at the goal line, Kelsey. He could not have been more wide open.
Then it's San Francisco and Detroit.
Hands up McCaffrey up the right side, into the end zone. Touchdown 49ers.
Listen to every game live from Westwood One. Get in the game and download the free Odyssey app today. AUDACY.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. Resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans directly, and recycle old clothes by donating them. When we each share one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing? Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. This new year, make some resolutions that will improve the environment. Resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans. Reuse paper and plastic bags and get a reusable bag for groceries. Recycle old clothes by donating them to charity. And recycle old electronics like TVs, computers, and cell phones at appropriate e-waste facilities. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day and nothing worked until Mark Patrick hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food, crazy, enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars early bird special, only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. That's right. Seminars Tuesday, January 30th at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights, and Wednesday, January 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites St. Louis Airport in St. Louis. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
This is America's sports voice, KMOX.
Back at it on KMOX. It's a Graybar Sports Open Line. As always, if you want to join in on the program, you can do so. Calling, texting, tweeting. Calling and texting 314-436-7900. 314-436-7900. Or you tweet into the program at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air is how you get in contact with me today. We're talking about the Hall of Fame voting. Again, if you're just tuning in, Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, all Hall of Famers. For Beltre, he receives 95% of the vote. He was as much of a sure thing in his first year on the ballot. Todd Helton got almost up to 80%, which is remarkable considering how long. This is his 6th year on the ballot, and this was the year that he got up to 80%. And then Joe Mauer in his first year just barely gets in at 76% of the vote. You need 75% to get in. Billy Wagner comes up just short at just under 74% of the vote. In all likelihood, he's going to get in next year. Gary Sheffield, his eligibility is over, finishes at 64% of the vote. This was his 10th and final season on the ballot, but he'll probably end up as a Hall of Famer via the Eras Committee at some point in time. Andrew Jones, 61%. Carlos Beltran, 57%. Alex Rodriguez came in at 35%. Manny Ramirez at 32%. Look, there are just there are voters out there who are not going to vote for anybody who is connected to PEDs. They're just not. So when you see Alex Rodriguez and Manny Ramirez each at under 35%, that's why. I'm a big believer in you don't always have to agree with people, but you have to understand the road that they're taking to get wherever they're at. If you're a baseball writer and you refuse to vote for anybody who was essentially implicated in PEDs, I understand that road. I understand how you get there. I don't agree with you, to be very blunt about it. I'd put Barry Bonds in. I'd put Roger Clemens in. I'd put Alex Rodriguez in. I'd put Manny Ramirez in. And part of the reason why is we don't know. I promise you, there are members of the Baseball Hall of Fame who are doing all kinds of things, and they were just better at keeping it a secret, or they were playing at a time where nobody was really looking around. And you go back to early, before even PEDs were a thing, you're talking about greenies or whatever. I mean, there's always athletes, not just baseball, athletes have always looked for chemical substances that can improve their performance. And just because somebody got caught, I don't think is a reason not to put them in. Sometimes it's not even caught. Sometimes it's just you've been implicated in it, or you've been accused, or there was something in there. Like, do we know that Barry Bonds used PEDs? Yeah, we do. But again, like I said, it seems so unfair to me. And maybe the answer to this is, well, if you think it's unfair, the first thing should have been don't do something that was against the rules. But it seems unfair to me that there are going to be players who are in the Hall of Fame who did things that they weren't supposed to do, and they simply got caught. And baseball was turning. They weren't looking into this. Baseball was all in on Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa and the home run chase and bringing back baseball and finally doing that following the strike. That was something that baseball went all in on. And that was seemingly the start of the PED era of baseball. And that is the issue that if I was a voter, again, I'm not, never will be. If I was voting, my personal conflict would be just that I know I don't know everything that every player ever did. And I know there are players in the Hall of Fame who basically did the exact same thing that's keeping me from voting for these other individuals. And I would have a moral issue with that. And I would just vote for everybody in. I would. That's where I would be. And people know that when they played and what they were implicated in and all those sort of things. I really have a hard time with that. I'm also somebody that would put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. And maybe I'm just too nice. Maybe I'm just open up the doors and let everybody walk in. Maybe that's what we're learning about me right now. But I would put Pete Rose in. I absolutely would. And yeah, I have a really hard time with the idea that we don't know everything that everybody did, and that's what's keeping some of these guys out. But for that, I'll criticize some of the voters on their ballots. I will. I hate the empty ballots. I've got a good friend. I went to college with him. He's an AP writer in Kansas City. His name's Dave Scretta. I don't know what his ballot was this year, but he does have a vote. He voted last year. He sent an empty ballot. I'm friends with him. I've known him for a really, really long time. I respectfully disagree with it. Like, I don't understand the idea of the empty ballot and saying that none of these guys are Hall of Famers. Clearly, there are Hall of Famers that are not in the Hall of Fame right now. And he's not the only one. I just remember that because he's a friend of mine. He's been on the show before. I kind of respect him for doing it. He didn't hide behind it. That was something that's good. I remember when it first happened, it was last year or 2 years ago, he got really attacked over it on social media. And I don't know, it got a little bit personal because it's social media, and that's what happens on social media, that things get personal for no reason. I can respectfully disagree with him. I respectfully disagree with a number of voters. I was talking about this earlier. I've never understood the voting for somebody one year, not voting for them the next year, things like that, unless it's a situation where there's enough first-year candidates that you knock off some players that were kind of the bottom of your list that you're going a full ballot. But if you're not going full ballot and somebody's a Hall of Famer one year and they're not a Hall of Famer the next year, I've just never understood that. Yet we see it on an every year basis. I really appreciate, though, on social media, we've seen there's a group of people that track the Hall of Fame voting. If you're on social media, they do Hall of Fame ballot tracking on Twitter, and they work really hard at it. And a lot of these writers submit their ballots publicly. I'm glad that it is moving in that direction where there's going to be more. Just we're seeing everything that we're seeing more of these writers and voters being very clear and being very transparent about who they are, who they're voting for. I think that's an important thing. If you have a ballot, I think you should be able to stand behind your ballot. Derek Gould wrote a column and he explained his ballot. I think I appreciate that. If you've got a vote, I would appreciate if you explain everything. And the good writers out there do that. The good writers absolutely do that. So I'm a little bit bummed. I thought there was a good chance that we were going to get 4 people in. Billy Wagner comes up just a little bit short. But Adrian Beltre obviously was a no-brainer. Todd Helton, Joe Mauer getting in, and we'll probably see Billy Wagner get in here in the very short, in the near future. You would think he's probably going to get in coming up next year. All right, we're going to switch gears when we come back. We'll talk some City SC. Our good friend Bill McDermott, Mr. Soccer. We will discuss with him Miguel Perez, his transfer, and what's going on with City SC right now as training camp is underway. They've been in warmer temperatures going through practice. But before you know it, the city season is going to be here. What can we expect? We'll discuss that with Bill McDermott coming up in just a moment. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
You can be the best. You can be the King Kong banging on your chest.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and music director Stefan Denev explore musical fables, a performance featuring the timeless classic Peter and the Wolf, accompanied by the Academy Award-winning short film, and Francis Poulenc's colorful Les Animaux Modernes, narrated by Broadway star and St. Louis native Ken Page. January 27th and 28th at Stiefel Theater. Tickets at slso.org.
As a guitarist, jazz is a language I've spent a lifetime getting fluent in. Loud, soft, staccato, legato, nuance is everything. But as I get older, I need a little help staying dynamic. My doctor at Archwell Health, she's almost like part of the band. We meet regularly to keep me tuned up and ready to jam.
Looking for primary care for adults age 60 and up? With more one-on-one time with your doctor, same-day appointments for members, and locations near you, Archwell Health hits all the right notes. Visit archwellhealth.com today to learn more.
This is a 2-minute warning with Chiefs Super Bowl champion quarterback Patrick Mahomes, presented by Together Credit Union.
It's on to the AFC Championship game for the Chiefs following an exciting 27-24 win at Buffalo Sunday night. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is clearly happy with the result.
Definitely happy to get the win. Obviously, it was a great environment, but I was glad that we were able to go in there, come together, and find a way to get a win. And now we're on to Baltimore, so it's going to be a lot of fun this week, preparing for this challenge, and we're excited for it.
Mahomes went on to say that walking off that field victorious was a fantastic feeling.
You're excited. I mean, to be able to go on the road in the playoffs and win a game is hard to do. And so to be able to go up against a great team like that and get a win. And I was running over trying to get my headband and my sleeve, the kid with my jersey on, and snowballs start flying. I mean, it's just like you're a little kid again, man. You're just playing football, in the backyard with your friends and your family, and you come out with the win. You're smiling, running back in the house.
Up next, the Chiefs play the AFC Championship game in Baltimore against the AFC's number 1 seed Ravens. Mahomes expects the environment to be as loud as any he has played in.
They do a great job of disguising. They have a well-coached defense, players everywhere, and they do a great job of disguising and trying to time up your snap counts and stuff like that. So you got to be able to use that nonverbal communication to be on the same page with also trying to get them to give away some of their coverages. I mean, it's going to be a real factor in the game, and you saw that in the Houston game. And I mean, I played there on Sunday night and Monday night. I know it's going to be even louder than that. And those two games were some of the loudest I've been a part of. So it'll be a great environment, and we're excited for the challenge.
Across the board, Mahomes thinks very highly of the Ravens.
There's a reason that they're in this game. I mean, they have no weakness. I've watched most of the defense, and no weakness on that defensive line, no weakness in the linebacker group, obviously, with the Pro Bowlers there, and then the secondary playing their tail off as well. I mean, there really is a truly great group of football players, and they fly around, they play fast, they play hard, and it's going to be a great challenge for us. I mean, but what else do you ask for? It's the best going against the best. That's what you have in this round with 4 teams left, and whoever makes the less mistakes and goes out and execute at a high enough level is going to win it.
The Chiefs and Ravens play for the right to go to the Super Bowl on Sunday. Kickoff time is 2 o'clock, and we'll have the broadcast right here on KMOX. With the 2-minute warning presented by Together Credit Union, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
They're putting the finishing touches on the brand new Genesis of St. Charles brick and mortar building, the first standalone Genesis showroom in the state of Missouri. But don't wait to experience Genesis. Right now, Genesis of St. Charles is offering rates as low as 4.49% on select 2024 Genesis models and a $1,000 incentive if you already own a Highline vehicle. The excitement is building at Genesis of St. Charles, where they make amazing happen. Get more information at genesisofstcharles.com.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman for the Bath Authority. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold and mildew, or broken tiles, you have to call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. It comes with a lifetime warranty, walk-in tubs, replacement showers, tub-to-shower conversions, and more. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
Says here that Gray Bar is a distributor.
Yeah, we support electrical and datacom projects all over the country.
So you can get me the products I need, where and when I need them?
Yeah, thanks to our national logistics network.
Any industry?
Yeah, construction, industrial plants, schools, hospitals.
So you could say Gray Bar is much more than a distributor.
Yeah, you could say that. When you need a hand powering, connecting, or maintaining your operations, join the thousands of professionals who rely on Gray Bar to help keep them up and running. Yeah, Gray Bar does that.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-403-5569 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-403-5569. That's 800-403-5569. What do you have to lose? Call 800-403-5569. Again, 800-403-5569.
This is the Gray Bar Sports Open Line.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
On America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
We do continue on here on KMOX. We got a fair amount of comments, tweets, text, also comments on our live stream via Facebook about the Hall of Fame and whether or not more players should get in and what's going to look like moving forward. We're going to revisit this conversation coming up next hour. We're going to have Jay Jaffe on around 7:35, but we'll get to some of those comments and things that were made coming up in just a bit. But right now, happy to be able to go to the Quiver River Electric guest line. We will welcome on to the program. He is Mr. Soccer, Bill McDermott. A lot to get into when it comes to soccer. Bill, always appreciate you taking the time with us. How are you?
Sure, Matt. Fine. How you been? Happy New Year, by the way. I haven't talked to you for a while.
Yeah, Happy New Year. I hope the new year is treating you well. Really wanted to get you on to talk a few things, but wanted to lead off with just the news this past week that Miguel Perez had been loaned over to a USL Pro team. Obviously, people are excited about a guy from a local high school having an impact with City SC. What does this mean for him and just his opportunity to develop even further?
It means, Matt, I think that it was an inevitable. He wasn't going to be playing that much this year with the addition of Chris Durkin from DC United. The City team had been looking for another defensive midfielder, if you would. So he wasn't going to be playing that much. Now, the good aspect of this loan to Birmingham is that the coach is Tom Sohn, who is born and raised in Major League Soccer and knows every facet of the overall pyramid, if you will, of American soccer, with MLS being at the very top, USL Championship being next, and then MLS Next Pro being third in line. But this will be an excellent chance for Miggy to continue to progress. He's not going to be sitting at Birmingham. He's going to be in the first 11. He's going to be in the first 11 on a consistent basis. So, long story short, Matt, at this stage of his career, this is the correct path.
Is it a standard belief that USL Pro is a step ahead of the City 2 and the MLS Next League?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is, Matt. Now, there's just so many young players and so many players who are just getting started coming out of college, going into perhaps MLS Next. But these the USL Pro Championship, St. Louis FC was a good example of that. These are literally players from all over the world who likewise have played intercollegiate soccer and have tried the sport various parts of the world, but there's just more experience in the USL Pro Championship. And there's some heated competition as well. So it is a very good league. It's on solid footing.
Yeah, when I lived in Colorado Springs, we had a team there. It was actually coached by Steve Tritchu, who's now back in town.
Exactly.
It was a fun brand of soccer for sure.
It really was, Matt, and it's a decent overall part of the whole economic equation for the sport in our country, and it likewise, like MLS Next and every other league, team, division, academy, wherever, just continues to add exposure in overall identity, continues to give overall identity to Major League Soccer in our country.
So for Perez, they loan him, so they still retain rights. What is the path moving forward for him look like?
Perhaps to stay in USL this year, unless, as you just alluded to, he is free to come back. He can come back as part of the loan arrangement. He can come back at any time. But we'll have to wait and see. He's such a young player, Matt. It's so difficult to predict these paths for such young players. But he could get some notice playing in USL Championship too, so that other teams may somewhere along the line want his services. It's just too definitely too early to judge what's going to happen with his career. But he is on solid footing because he started in Major League Soccer, contributed when he came in, showed that he showed every time he got in the game that he was ready to play and certainly up to the competition. But again, I repeat myself that this is the correct path for him at his stage of his career.
So City SC, they've been down in Florida. They're going to spend some time in California. They, obviously getting into some warmer climates. It feels like the season just ended and they're already back in training camp. We knew it when the season did end that it was going to be a short off season. But then once you hear about them reporting, you realize just how short of an off season you have in the MLS.
Extremely short, Matt. Last year, case in point, started February 26th. If you got into the final, it went to December 9th. This year, 2 days earlier. Everything starts on the 24th, and if you get in the final, it goes to the 7th. Now, however, Miami's going to open the overall MLS season on Wednesday, the 21st of February, and then everybody plays that upcoming weekend. They're going to play Real Salt Lake on the 21st, but yes, this is really happening fast for St. Louis City. They've been in Florida. They are in Florida. They're going to play Nashville and the Columbus Crew, defending MLS champs. They'll play them. Then they come back to St. Louis on the 26th. They're in St. Louis for a while, then back to California from the 2nd of February to the 12th. And during that stint, they'll play the Galaxy, LAFC, and the Red Bulls. then a closed-door session against Louisville City, and then they'll pretty much be in St. Louis until the season begins. And then, Matt, it's just more action, continual work, 3 games in 8 days to open the season. The 20th of February against Houston, that's a CONCACAF Champions League, the regular season. As I mentioned, the 24th against Real Salt Lake, and then again against Houston in Houston on Tuesday the 27th. So you better be ready. Long story short, you better be ready because it's happening. The games are coming already thick and fast.
What the Champions Cup, you have different in-season tournaments and different things are taken more serious or less serious. MLS tried to remove themselves from the U.S. Open Cup, and that's not going to happen. How serious does everybody take the Champions Cup?
At the outset of the season, it's difficult too because you're simply not totally ready by any means. But again, to echo what I said earlier about MLS, this is just a chance for Major League Soccer to get exposure with its neighboring country in Mexico. And the days of the rivalry between the United States and Mexico, oh yes, by all means, it still exists. And it was even heated up even further, Matt, when the United States beat Mexico at the 2002 World Cup. Not just a World Cup qualifier, they beat them in the World Cup. And that really, really heightened the awareness of the competition between Mexico and the United States. So this is it's a difficult competition so early in the year. But yes, every time you take the field with your uniform on, you take the game seriously.
Right now, there's 2 games scheduled. February 20th against Houston. That's going to be in St. Louis, and then they'll play in Houston February 27th. I'm sure there are a lot of people listening who are still kind of learning everything. Explain how the Champions Cup exactly works and what that beyond those 2 games, what could happen beyond that.
Yeah, well, you can continue to play in that as it goes on later in the season in MLS, leading up to I'm sorry to confuse people, leading up to the overall Champions League, which is between teams in the first division of Mexico and teams in Major League Soccer. This is what happened last year, Matt, when there was a break between July 20th and August 20th, and the team was in top form, really playing well, and then all of a sudden, this other competition comes up and kind of took them aback, as a matter of fact. As a matter of fact, a goodly number of the foreign players were not accustomed to a break like that in the regular season, in particular because they got knocked out of the competition very early and consequently had a long wait before their next game. So it's just more games, heavy fixture texture. The texture of the overall fixtures is really getting congested, and a lot of people will tell you that. And Inter Miami has already talked about that with reference to Lionel Messi, and Messi's kind of alluded to it himself. He doesn't say much, but he will occasionally talk about all these games in such a short period of time. And truth be told, that's what happened to Lionel Messi. Yes, last year he was overused.
Yeah, playing 3 games in 8 days is tough if you're doing it in the middle of June or July. Doing it in the first 8 days of the season, it puts a lot of pressure on the coaches and the training staff to have the team ready to go right from the outset.
That's why your training sessions at this stage of the year are invaluable, Matt. And that's why these games in Florida and California are so vital, because you get a chance to see every player. And that is the sole purpose for playing games like this and against different teams. Nashville, the Crew, LAFC, Red Bulls, the Galaxy. You get a real diverse area of competition there. But yes, coming into the season, playing 3 games in 8 days is very difficult. And you have to be prepared for that. Therein lies the reason for playing in decent weather, really decent weather, in these first couple early months. It's almost imperative that you do this and get as many games in as possible.
Final question for Bill McDermott, Mr. Soccer. They obviously the playoffs did not go as well as they would have liked last season after a great regular season. What have you seen, whether it's the moves that they've made or anything else? Have you noticed anything that they've done to try to make them a more playoff-ready team potentially this year?
Positively, Matt. They've addressed that right away, and they said they were going to. They signed Thomas Totland. He's an international slot player. He'll be the right back now, and Nicholas Dyer, left back. So they were always looking to improve on those wide back positions simply because it's such a vital part of the game. By that I mean, Matt, very few players on the field, if the system is played properly, will do as much running as the wide backs. They're from corner flag to corner flag. They're defending, but it is also mandatory that you contribute to the attack. Another player that shows this team has gone to make a definite significance in their first 11, they picked up Chris Durkin. They initially traded Jared Stroud and Lucas Bartlett to DC United. He's a former youth international player. Chris Durkin's his name. He has experience in Major League Soccer as well as internationally with youth national teams. So he'll be set, ready to go. So right straight away there, you have 3 new players in your first 11, proving that you're ready to get ready for the 2024 season.
He is Bill McDermott, Mr. Soccer. You hear him hosting Extra Time from the Pitch here on KMOX. Bill, thank you as always for the time.
Thanks,
I'm sure we'll be talking a whole bunch as soccer season rolls along.
Look forward to it. Thank you, man.
Awesome. There's Bill McDermott joining us here on the program. When we come back, we'll hear a little bit from Blues head coach Drew Bannister as the Blues are back at tonight. They are on the road this evening against the Calgary Flames. We'll talk through tonight's game and preview it for you in just a moment as we roll on with the Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Doors take us to summers away or winter adventures and afternoon getaways. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Join your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and music director Stefan Deneuve on February 2nd as international sensation and St. Louis favorite violinist Augustine Hadelich returns for Samuel Barber's lyrical violin concerto. Then discover pioneer composer Florence Price's Third Symphony that blends passion with great tunes and danceable rhythms. February 2nd at UMSL's Two Hill Performing Arts Center. Tickets at slso.org.
We enjoyed up until today, very mild winter. In my personal opinion, it's been very nice, very mild. But winter seems like it is here now. I like to let everybody know, if your furnace is broken, call me. You are a preferred customer of mine. Everybody gets great pricing, excellent treatment, knowledgeable techs, and me. No extra charge to call us. You don't have to pay me in advance for me to get out there same day. Call me, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. 2 things to remember: the phone number, and if you're tech savvy, which I'm not, it's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. Happy New Year.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. This year, resolve to use less gas. You can carpool to work a few days a week and walk any distance under a mile. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. When you use a rideshare service, you're putting your life in the hands of a stranger to get you safely where you need to go. But sometimes tragedies occur. And when they do, big companies like Uber and Lyft are often impossible to deal with on your own. We know how to hold these companies accountable. When you've been involved in a car crash or been a victim of assault, we're here to protect you.
Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Call 314 or 618-900,000 to learn more.
Let's ring in the new year by checking off an important to-do,
Your old videotapes and photos are fading as each year passes. VCRs are becoming extinct, and the clock is ticking to save your family's most cherished memories. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve your captured moments by converting all your videotapes, photos, and even film reels into perfectly preserved digital files.
Legacy Box is the easiest resolution to do and can be done in minutes. Just fill your Legacy Box, send it in, and we'll send it back with your memories perfectly preserved.
Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos. All the work is done right here in the USA, and over 1 million customers have trusted Legacy Box.
Let's kick off the new year right by rescuing your memories that haven't been watched or enjoyed in years.
Order your Legacy Box today.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off. legacybox.com/value.
It's a Great Bar Sports Open Line here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. Blues hockey tonight. They are in action as they are going to match up against the Calgary Flames for the Blues. They're coming off a pretty good win their last time out against the Capitals when they won by a 3-0 score. And in that contest, Jordan Binnington wasn't tested too much, but he stopped everything that came his way. He is expected to start in goal tonight. Drew Bannister, the interim head coach of the Blues, spoke this morning at Morning Skate and said, this is an important game tonight.
Well, I mean, I think we know where we are. I mean, this is an important game in the standings for us, and it's an important trip for us. So we want to make sure that we focus on what we have to do here tonight, get off to a good start, and but most importantly, it's a game that we have to come to play. We got to be ready to play here tonight and put in a good performance.
Drew, I know this is your first game coaching against him, but is there any reason you could see that you guys match up so well against him? I think you're 9-2 against him in the last 11.
Yeah, I don't know what the matchups were before. I just know that there's two hockey games or two hockey teams that are going to be desperate for 2 points here tonight, and that's at the end of the day that's all that matters. And we got to have a certain level of desperation here when we start the game.
The only real change in this game tonight is that Sammy Blais is being reinserted into the fourth line, and Bannister answered what he is wanting to see from Blais as he gets back into the lineup.
Well, I mean, if you watch the game, that's what we need from our group as a whole, to play direct, to get in the forecheck, be strong on pucks, be strong on walls, get to the net. So, we're not asking anything more from him than we would for the rest of the guys.
Fun opportunity for Jake Neighbors, as he is a Calgary native, so he's back home playing.
I mean, I've had Jake in the American League, so I've been around him enough to understand what type of person he is and what type of player he is. And he continues to grow, certainly on the ice, but off the ice, he has a lot of leadership skills. And, knowing him from the Western League and people being close here and him playing in Edmonton, they know a lot about what type of character person he is. So it's the same here.
Has he forced his way into more opportunity?
I think so. I think some of our young guys have. They've played to the expectations of what we expect from our younger players, and now they're starting to push for more ice time, and they deserve that.
So while Blais goes into the lineup for a second straight game, the team is healthy scratching Scott Pernovich.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of good things that we've liked from Scott. And when I came here, I wanted to get him in the lineup. And I think he built some confidence in his game. And he had a good stretch of hockey for us at that time. But I think over when we took Scandi out, we struggled a little bit in our zone just to close out plays and the physicality. And, I think if Scott's going to, continue to improve his game, the defensive side, I mean, what he does with the puck, is at times, very elite in this league. He moves pucks and he makes good puck decisions. But
that's Drew Bannister, and this is a Grey Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
The Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit to tell you that's for sure. That's Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, antique firearms, military relics, uniforms, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring it to Midwest Money at 5900 Hampton in South St. Louis to find out. Plus, Midwest Money is home of the largest model train layout in St. Louis. And the first Sunday of every month, bring your family to see this great model railroad exhibit, and it's free. My advice to you is to bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money at the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. So come on in. They'd like to meet you at Midwest Money. You'll be happy you did.
Do you need to sell your home, but you need time to find your next home or to build that new construction home you've been dreaming about? Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis's real estate expert, has a program for you. Gloria understands that those are two issues keeping would-be home sellers from moving into their dream home. Gloria Liu has developed her Sell and Stay program that allows you to sell, get your cash, and then stay in the home for up to 12 months. Gloria's Sell and Stay program takes the pressure off and gives you time to find your next home. Plus, now that you have the cash from your current home, it gives you leverage when negotiating your next home. It's a great solution to help get some of our listeners unstuck and moving. If this sounds like you, then call the one I trust, Gloria Liu, at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. That's gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
What better way to support your nutrition than with the multivitamin that was created right here in St. Louis? Neovitin Original Multivitamin was created by St. Louis physician Dr. Ribicki to support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Now, Neovitin Original Multivitamin is formulated with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Ribicki's proprietary blend to give you nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Neovitin is now conveniently available through our no-obligation monthly subscription. Cancel or pause at any time, and shipping is free. Support your nutrition with a subscription to Neovitin at neovitin.com today.
KMOX KECK HD2 St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals. KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. All polls in New Hampshire are now closed in the first in the nation primary, where CBS is categorizing the New Hampshire Republican race as leaning Trump.
I'm Matt Piper in Manchester, New Hampshire. Republican primary voters CBS News spoke with at polling sites throughout the state say two issues were tops for them, the economy and immigration. They say they are unhappy with how things are going in the country, including about a third who are angry about it. It's why Chris says he's voting for Donald Trump.
Just look at what he did last time as president. Okay. I think people can't be so soft. I hate to say that, but we live in a scary world. And, right now we need to make some hard decisions.
But rival Nikki Haley does have support here.
Time for a change. Time to get the border taken care of. Time to take the debt this country's in. I think she can handle it.
New Hampshire's Secretary of State projected a record turnout at the polls.
President Biden delivers a speech in defense of reproductive rights as his campaign for re-election heats up. CBS's Linda Kenyon reports.
The chants from ardent supporters encircled the speech and provided cushioning from frequent interruptions by pro-Palestinian supporters. The president, appearing somewhat annoyed, pressed ahead with his message to restore abortion rights.
The person most responsible for taking away this freedom in America is Donald Trump.
And Mr. Biden added voters can bring it back.
With your voice, with your power, with your vote, we can restore the protections that have been around for over 50 years under Roe v. Wade.
Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
A day after striking targets in Yemen, the U.S. has bombed 3 locations in Iraq used by Iranian-backed militias. CBS's David Martin has more from the Pentagon.
The militias have conducted more than 150 attacks on U.S. troops since Israel invaded Gaza. But this is only the 7th time the Biden administration, anxious to keep the war from spreading, has retaliated.
Boeing says its 737 factory teams in Renton, Washington, are holding a quality stand-down on Thursday to take part in working sessions focused on quality. The company says it's the first in a series of stand-downs and comes after some of the company's planes have been subject to inspection after the mid-air blowout of a door plug on an Alaska Airlines flight. The Baseball Hall of Fame 2024 class is announced. More from sports reporter Erica Herskowitz.
Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, and Joe Mauer are headed to the Baseball Hall of Fame, elected by the Baseball Writers Association into the class of 2024. They join manager Jim Leland, who was selected by the Contemporary Baseball Era Committee. The induction ceremony takes place in Cooperstown on July 21st.
The Dow closed down 96 points. NASDAQ jumped 66. This is CBS News.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
Light rain around the area at 7:03, 45 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Maria Aquina. Our top local story this hour.
Cease fire now! Thank you. Cease fire now! Cease
At this time,
now!
I'm going to ask for assistance.
A major disruption at this afternoon's St. Louis County Council meeting. The protesters chanting ceasefire now and free Palestine after the first speaker was objecting to Councilwoman Kelly Dunaway's request for a resolution on International Holocaust Remembrance Day.
You want to recognize International Holocaust Day? Recognize all of them. You had the right idea in your dissent to the Boeing expansion because Sam Page approving a $155 million tax break for Boeing is essentially $155 million worth of funding Palestinian genocide.
Council Chair Shalonda Webb asked police to clear the chambers. When they reconvened, Councilman Dennis Hancock recommended that the meeting be recessed until Friday at 4 and then that it be virtual. That motion was unanimously approved. One female protester was arrested for trespassing after ignoring several requests to leave the council chambers.
I have worked transparently and collaboratively as much as possible.
Some work did get done at the council right before the protests. St. Louis County Council Chairwoman Shalonda Webb there defending her request for legislation regarding municipal police departments within the county and minors carrying open carrying.
I believe limiting open carry for minors is good legislation that should be carried forth throughout all of St. Louis County, unincorporated and in municipalities.
Webb denies claims that she was attempting to take over municipality police departments within the county. She dropped this current request, though, but says she will rewrite that proposed legislation. One proposal in the legislation would make it illegal for someone under 18 to own a handgun. State Senator Stephen Roberts.
But unfortunately, we're one of only 2 states where there is no state crime for minors to possess firearms. So you have a lot of kids, unfortunately, who are running with the wrong crowds, end up committing crimes.
Parents would need to provide written consent. Certain uses like military, self-defense, and hunting would be exempt. Democratic Representative Peter Meredith tweeted earlier this afternoon, Gen Law's committee just passed the Guns on Transit, Guns in Churches bill and added language to say that current and former legislators and current former military can carry guns into schools and other places that do not allow guns. Well, anyone can recommend changes to the city charter tonight during the first of 3 public hearings. That first meeting just getting underway.
Dr. Jasmine Nolan Eccles chairs the Charter Commission and says all ideas are on the table to update the over 100-year-old St. Louis City Charter.
All recommendations are considered. There's no evaluation of removal of any kind.
Recommendations will be gathered to make a first draft, which will be improved upon after each public hearing. Tonight's meeting will be at 7 o'clock, Missouri History Museum. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
There's a dense fog advisory in effect until midnight tonight. We are seeing rain around the area. An overnight low of 40 degrees. Heavens, we don't want 4 again. And rain. Tomorrow, rain is likely. Areas of fog with a high of 53 degrees. Rain tomorrow night, 42. And more rain on Thursday with highs of 49. Right now, it's 41 in St. Peters, 44 in Florissant, and downtown of the Arch, it's 45 degrees. I'm Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports Open Line.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
On America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Continuing on with a Graybar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. Of course, a big weekend this past weekend for the Kansas City Chiefs as they make it to the AFC Championship game once again, knocking the Buffalo Bills out of the playoffs. They win that game 27-24. They'll play the Ravens coming up on Sunday in the AFC Championship, a 2 o'clock kickoff. You can hear all the action right here on KMOX. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes joined our sister station, 610 Sports in Kansas City, the flagship of the Kansas City Chiefs. And speaking with Carrington Harrison, just talked about his feeling after coming away with that win on Sunday.
Yeah, no, definitely happy
This
with the win.
is
Obviously, it was a great environment, but I was glad that we were able to go in there, come together, and find a way to get a win. And now we're on to Baltimore, so it's going to be a lot of fun this week preparing for this challenge, and we're excited for it.
Let me ask you this: what hurts more, getting hit by Aaron Donald or getting hit with one of those snowballs that were being thrown by the Buffalo faithful?
Well, luckily enough, I didn't get hit. There's some that came awfully close, but yeah, I would probably say Aaron Donald, but I don't have that experience of getting hit by the snowball. But yeah, definitely was wild. But like we said, it was a lot of fun out there.
I just want to get your kind of first person just recollection of that moment, that image of you running off the field and Ted Cruz is right there next to you. You just got done doing the interview with Tracy Wolfson. That's as big as I've seen you smile in a while. How happy are you in that moment? What's going through your head when you were going off the field knowing what you guys just accomplished?
Yeah, I mean, definitely you're excited. I mean, to be able to go on the road in the playoffs and win a game is hard to do. And so to be able to go up against a great team like that and get a win, and I was running over trying to get my headband and my sleeve, a kid with my jersey on, and snowballs start flying. I mean, it's just like you're a little kid again, man. You're just playing football in the backyard with your friends and your family, and you come out with the win, you're smiling, running back in the house.
They showed a pretty cool moment of you and your team inside the locker room, and the camera then cuts to you and you said, hey, they asked for this. They wanted this. They got it. And you guys just won. And Travis comes in and says, but we still got more business to do. Let's turn it up. Was there anything that was said that maybe gave you extra motivation over the course of this week in this fun back and forth rivalry?
No, I mean, I don't know if you have to be motivated to play these games, man. I mean, everybody wanted us to go on the road, and we were able to go on the road and get a win. I mean, you have to accept the challenge in this league. I mean, every single week's going to be tough, especially in the playoffs, and there's a lot of great environments around the league. And so to be able to get yourself motivated enough to go out there and play your best ball, it's special, and I think this group does a great job of it. And it's not just me. We got a lot of great leaders on this team. I think that video, you can see that.
Normally, I try to have some well-thought-out question, but I'll just throw it to you this. How great was Travis on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, he was awesome, man. I mean, I think you could tell he stepped his game up. I mean, he's got the most touchdowns. He got the most touchdowns between me and him for a reason, man. He steps his game up in the biggest games. He makes the plays, he makes the catches, and he blocks. I mean, he does whatever it takes to win the football game, and that's why I'm glad he's on my team.
Are you a fan of the history of this game? You and Travis Kelce have more touchdowns than Rice in Montana. You and Kelce have more touchdowns than Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. How cool is it for you two together to sit atop that list?
Yeah, no, I mean, it really is really cool. I mean, those are four of the greatest players of all time. I mean, Tom is the greatest player of all time, and there's like three other ones that are in that separate hall that Dion talks about in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's going to be cool to be able to look back on our careers and say that we're on the top of that list. I'm sure it'll get broken at some point, but it really is something that we never even think about. But every time you see your name with those guys' names around it, you know you're doing something pretty cool.
Speaking of Tom Brady, on his podcast this week, he said that you are a guy that always figures out how to get it done. I can't think of a greater compliment to be paid than Tom Brady to say you are a guy who always figures out a way to shine through in big-time moments.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I have a lot of I watch a lot of Tom and the way he was able to drive the ball down the football field and win games and just lead his team. I think that's the biggest thing is when you think of Tom Brady, you think of the ultimate leader, someone that everyone wants to go out there and give everything they have to help that guy win. And I try to do the same stuff. I mean, he's beaten me in the playoffs, so I've seen it firsthand. But it's not something about how it gets done. It's about getting it done and finding a way to win. And I'm doing whatever I can to be a leader like that and try to win as much as he's won and continues to do.
I want to go back just a little bit, but I'm curious, how important was that end of the season, that game against the Los Angeles Chargers? You don't play in that game. Isaiah Pacheco doesn't play. Travis makes the decision to not play in that game. Sneed, how important of it was from a team concept for you to kind of get that mental and physical break? Because it feels like it really, really was a positive for Travis now in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think, obviously the rest is always great, especially for older guys like Travis. But I think for everybody, getting your body right, getting yourself ready to go for the playoffs. I think, like you said, the mental side of it, I think it's not even the mental of taking the game off. It's being an energizer for your teammates, being on the sideline, letting these guys that work their tail off every single day, showing them like the success they have and showing how much we care about them as well. I think that just brought the team together because we had been through some tough times and we were battling through to get to the playoffs, and to have that break and just get back to loving football again, I think that was something that was special, and we carried that momentum into the playoffs.
Patrick, a couple of years ago, you guys have the historic win against Buffalo, and you guys are unable to go to the Super Bowl. How much of your message as a team for the guys who were there a couple of years ago that had that 13-second comeback, in my opinion, the best game that we've ever seen in Arrowhead, to, hey, I know this win is great, but we got to finish the job. How much is part of your message this week?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think guys understand that. Guys that were here and guys that weren't here. I mean, if you cut the tape on and you watch the Ravens play, you know they're going to bring the energy, they're going to bring the juice, the physicality, and we're going to play our best football in order to win. And so for us, we're just going to go back to making the playbook the way we want it, going out there, giving everything we got, and trying to find a way to win at the end.
Right now, we're talking to Patrick Mahomes getting ready for the championship round against Baltimore. Patrick, you have gone up against this defense basically every day since July. What makes this defense so great?
Yeah, I mean, I think just the fact that they're deep at every level. I mean, you see guys, even when injuries happen, guys step in and they can play. They disguise very well. They got the players that can just go one-on-one and match up and stop guys, and they make great adjustments. I mean, if you look at that game against Buffalo, Buffalo was doing a lot of great things. They got a lot of great players, and they made the adjustments at halftime and were able to hold them to 7 points in the second half. And that's a tall task to do against a team like that. And so they're well coached. They got the players to do it, and they got the depth to do it as well. And they fly around and play for each other.
I'm curious on a personal level for you, what sort of clicks for you in the postseason? Because this season you had the most interceptions that you've had in a regular season, but so far through the first two games, you haven't thrown an interception. You haven't thrown an interception in your last 5 postseason games. That's over 150 passes. What is it about you that kind of starts to really pare things down once we get to the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, you got to really execute on the details. I mean, I try to do that all season long, but obviously in the postseason it's magnified even more. And turnovers are such a big deal in the NFL, especially in the postseason on who wins games. You want to try to protect that football. You still want to be aggressive. You still want to take shots down the field, but just knowing when to do that. And at the end of the day, it's just finding a way to win. And for me, if that's throwing for 350 yards or throwing for 100 yards, as long as we're winning the football game and moving to the next round, you're winning.
We talk a lot about your relationship with a lot of other quarterbacks. You know, you and Josh Allen seem to get along very well. You and Joe Burrow have had some friendly rivalries. You and Justin Herbert. Where are you at with Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, every time I'm interacting with Lamar, man, he's a great dude. He's someone that loves football. You can tell his teammates love him. I mean, he plays. You can see how he plays, that competitiveness that he has. And he's had success at every level. It's not someone that I text like every week or anything like that, which I don't do with most of the other quarterbacks. But I know when I go into that game this weekend, he's going to have that competitive fire just like all of us, and we're going to try to do whatever we can to beat each other, and the best man will come out on top.
You're a fan of this game. You and I have had a lot of conversations over the years about you just on a Monday night watching football. Do you ever just watch him in awe of some of the things that he can do?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think everyone in the NFL does. I mean, it's not just the running, but I mean, just to be able to throw the different arm slots, to be accurate, throw it downfield. I mean, he can do it all. I mean, that's why he's gonna I'm not hopefully, but gonna be winning his second MVP probably. And I think that just speaks to the type of player he is. He continues to get better and better. That's what we're all trying to do in this league. It'll be a great challenge for us, and we're excited to go out there to their place and see what we can do.
Houston had 6 offensive line penalties in their matchup against Baltimore. Someone found the audio of you talking about going on the road against Baltimore and how you had to use a silent count. It was one of the more difficult environments. How important is some of that nonverbal communication that you and I talked about last week against Buffalo? You guys executed that really well in the second round. How important is that going to be this week?
It's extremely important. I mean, they do a great job of disguising. They have a well-coached defense, players everywhere, and they do a great job of disguising and trying to time up your snap counts and stuff like that. So you got to be able to use that nonverbal communication to be on the same page with also trying to get them to give away some of their coverages. I mean, it's going to be a real factor in the game, and you saw that in the Houston game. And I mean, I played there on Sunday night and the Monday night. And I know it's going to be even louder than that. And those 2 games were some of the loudest I've been a part of. So it'll be a great environment, and we're excited for the challenge.
2 final questions here, Patrick, and I'll get you out of here. Number 1, we had Mitch Holtz on the show yesterday, and I asked him what did he see from Baltimore on film. He said that he didn't see a weakness on that team. When you watch Baltimore, what do you see from that Ravens team?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that they're in this game. I mean, they have no weakness. I mean, obviously, I just watched most of the defense, but no weakness on that defensive line, no weakness in the linebacker group, obviously, with the Pro Bowlers there, and then the secondary's playing their tail off as well. I mean, there really is a truly great group of football players, and they fly around, they play fast, they play hard, and it's going to be a great challenge for us. I mean, but what else can you ask for? It's the best going up against the best. That's what you have in this round with 4 teams left. And whoever makes the less mistakes and goes out and execute at a high enough level is going to win it.
Last thing here, I'm just going to guess that you seeing Jason Kelce shirtless in the suite, that doesn't even make his top 5, top 10, I'm guessing.
No, man. I mean, that's just Jason being Jason. That Kelce family, man, they live on high energy. And they're a family, man. They love each other and they're going to support each other. So it's cool to see. And I mean, that was an all-time moment, but at the same time, I mean, he's had a lot better. So, I mean, who knows what he'll do this week.
That is Patrick Mahomes joining us on the show today, the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick, last week's game against Buffalo was great. I think we're all hoping for another great one this weekend. Good luck, man. Appreciate you hopping on today.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Patrick Mahomes speaking with our sister station 610 Sports in Kansas City. Again, AFC Championship game Sunday, Chiefs, Ravens, 2:00. We'll have it for you here on KMOX. We'll continue to talk about the Chiefs and what's going on with them. Our good friend Alex Gold from 610 Sports. He joins us in just a moment. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
It's Tom Ackerman. Need to get my eyes checked once a year from Ophthalmology Associates. It's an annual eye health examination that I absolutely need if I want to see clearly, and I want to be able to tell you what I see in everything that I do on the radio and in life. The doctors of Ophthalmology Associates will help me with that. 314-966-5000 is the number to call for an appointment. 314-966-5000, Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andrew Royer, and Samuel Berry. He is a cornea surgeon. He has the knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field, just like the other doctors. The doctors, they call them that because they have over 250 doctors as patients. That is more than any other practice. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates, yourEyeDoc.com.
So, you got a new gadget over the holidays. Don't forget to listen to your favorite station on Odyssey. Unwrapped a new Amazon Echo or Google Home? Be sure to tell your smart speaker to play your favorite station. Received a new Sonos speaker? Check on Odyssey on the Sonos app for access to hundreds of stations. Got a new phone? Don't forget that the Odyssey app is the only way you can jump to your favorite show with Rewind. No matter what you received this year, listen to your favorites with Odyssey. Download the free Odyssey app today. AUDACY.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold at Newbold Toyota and Newbold BMW. I am so confident that my team will take care of every one of your service and sales needs. I'll give you my cell phone, 618-791-5470. Newbold Toyota or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
When you retire, you leave a lot behind. The daily grind, the long commute, and yes, even the alarm clock. But the one thing that you take with you, a tax bill. Oh, and did you know that income taxes could be your single largest expense in retirement? Good news, though, Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group, they can show you ways to pay less to Uncle Sam with the right tax planning. Kick off 2024 with a new tax plan and potentially more money in your pocket and less in Uncle Sam's. Join Steve and the team for this exclusive educational workshop focusing solely on taxes in retirement. Join us January 25th or January 30th at Stone Summit. These events are complimentary, but you must qualify to attend. Call 636-230-8824 or visit yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at yourheartcomesfirst.com. That's yourheartcomesfirst.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy. free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together millions of things for our planet. This new year, make some resolutions that will improve the environment. Resolve to use less gas in your car. You can carpool to work a couple of days a week, use public transportation like buses or trains, combine errands to make fewer trips, and take a walk for any distances of a mile or less. And think about an electric car when looking for your next vehicle. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. Not all law firms are created equal. Don't risk your future with just any firm. See how Onder Law is different.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
This is America's sports voice, KMOX.
Left to Kelsey, trying to angle to the far pylon, stretching out. Does he have it? Does he have it? Are they going to give it to him? No signal yet given. And do they give it to him? Yep. It's a touchdown, Kansas City, and it breaks the record as Kelsey able to get his elbow touching the pylon on the far front side.
The great Mitch Holt is on the call here on KMOX and across the Chiefs Radio Network. We go to the Quiver River guest line right now. Welcome in somebody who is part of the Chiefs Radio Network and also co-host of Cody and Gold on our sister station, 610 Sports in Kansas City. It's our good friend, Alex Gold. Alex, appreciate you taking the time with us today. How are you?
Always. I'm doing good, man. It's good to be back on with you guys and another fun time of the year here in Kansas City.
Yeah, it just seems like as much negativity was around this Chiefs team because they're not what they've been the last few years. Here they are in the AFC Championship game again. It's rather remarkable the run that they're on right now.
No, it is. You know, I think, we compared it to the Patriot years where there were plenty of times from afar where you would watch the Patriot Tom Brady years and there were plenty of seasons where I think we all looked at the Patriots, whether it was AFC title game week, whether it was Super Bowl week, and we're like, this team wasn't even that good that year. How did they get there? And I feel like that's kind of where we're at, where you said it. This team had flaws throughout the entire season. Offensively, they're not the same team from 2022 or 2021. But when you have, one of the greats at quarterback and you've got experience and a future Hall of Famer at tight end, like guys step up. And that's what has happened so far the first two games of this postseason.
If you're the Buffalo Bills, where do you go from here? Because this was the opportunity to finally beat Kansas City. You're at home. It's a Chiefs team that doesn't look as good, and it still ends up in this direction. I don't know what that organization does moving forward.
Oh, it's devastating. It just has to be. This was the game you finally thought it was your opportunity because you get them in your backyard. I mean, that was always the, I guess, excuse, if you will, for why Josh Allen hadn't beaten Mahomes in the postseason was, well, wait till this thing's at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. Well, they got their opportunity there. And of course, Josh Allen played great. Mahomes was better, right? Mahomes was just flat out better. Even with the Chiefs making mistakes, they still were able, when it mattered, to get the stops defensively. And so if you're Buffalo, look, Josh Allen's not going anywhere. I think there's valid questions about your head coach and Sean McDermott. He's not going to go anywhere right now, but I think it's fair to wonder at some point, is he the coach that can get you over the hump? Stephon Diggs, is he still a number one wide receiver, or did he just have a bad year, or is this who he is now? So I think there's definitely questions. Von Miller, you brought in a couple of years ago on a big deal to really stop the Chiefs, and he hasn't been healthy, been a shell of himself. So I think there's real questions there, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, and maybe with the coaching staff in Buffalo.
This team, you look at the TV ratings, which were just incredible, and so many people talk about the Taylor Swift factor. I don't know how much that. By the sidebar on that is, I can't go a minute in St. Louis without hearing people complain about Taylor Swift. Is it like that in Kansas City, or are people in Kansas City more kind of in favor of the attention that she's getting?
Well, I mean, there's still people that are annoyed by it, I think. But now I also feel like there's more people in Kansas City that even if they were like, hey, why are you guys talking about this? They're more on board because they're seeing how much it irritates everybody else around the NFL. And that's kind of also where I'm at. Like, number one, do it. I have no problem with Kelsey and Swift. They're happy. Why should we care? If they're happy, who cares? And the entertainment factor during the game, big deal. They cut away for 4 seconds, if that away. You didn't miss a play or anything like that. It adds to it. It's been great for the league. People elsewhere are definitely annoyed, but I just enjoy the fact now that you have people that just get triggered so easily every time they show her on TV.
It really feels like the Chiefs have become the team that so many Americans like, because you have a likable quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. There's some non-sports connections in there because of Taylor Swift. Obviously, here in St. Louis, we're running the Chiefs here on KMOX, and we're glad to be doing it. But you look at those TV ratings, and you just see a Chiefs team that might not be in a huge market, but definitely has the attention of the entire country.
No doubt. Well, when you got Patrick Mahomes, who is, when you talk about playmaking ability and highlight plays and how fun they are to watch, there's also, I think, the NFL is always this time of the year going to have massive ratings. But then when you couple with Mahomes and a little bit of the Taylor Swift effect, and you get this perfect storm. You said that they're well liked, and likable team. I'm with you. I think Mahomes is a very likable guy. However, because they've been winning, man, I think they are the team everybody's rooting against now in the NFL. I kind of disagree at this point now that not just this weekend against Baltimore and Lamar, but I believe the Chiefs now are in that territory that the Patriots used to be in, that the Warriors had been in, that LeBron James has been in, where when you win a lot, eventually people get sick of you and don't like you. People don't like winners after a while. And I think that's where things stand right now with the Chiefs. And I think if you're a Chiefs fan, you just got to embrace the hate a little bit and recognize that means you're doing something right. Anybody that grew up a Chiefs fan, I don't doubt they probably expected at some point in their lifetime for them to be the team that everybody thinks the league is setting up referee assignments for and this crazy stuff.
This team has been flawed offensively most of the season, but you look at what a Pacheco was able to do. Obviously, Travis Kelce had a nice day. What Rashee Rice has been doing all season long. Are enough guys stepping forward? Is there enough offensively for this team to win 2 more games?
So I think that the key for them this week is going to be the injuries. We can talk about that in a second. But overall, what you were saying about the flaw of the team, what they have done 3 games in a row now, Cincinnati, the Dolphins, and Buffalo, is they recognize who they are in 2023, now 2024. They're not the team, as I said, from 22 or 21 that they're, you're not going to turn Kadarius Toney into something that he's not. Stop trying. I still think they got too cute with McCole Hardman near the goal line that nearly cost them the game this past week. Focus in on Rashee Rice. He's shown enough. He's stepped up enough. Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco. That should be your bread and butter with this offense. And so I think they've leaned into that. I think they've leaned into having the best defense in football. And they, when it matters most in the second half, just really rarely give up points. I believe they haven't given up more than 7 points in the second half in quite some time. And that's a credit to Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator. So, yeah, I think to answer your question, can they win 2 more? Absolutely. Now, I want to see what the injury report is later this week. I think there are a couple concerns out there on the offensive line. Joe Thuney, the All-Pros, got a pec strain. Can he play Sunday? I don't think he's going to be ruled out until last minute, but that's questionable. And then on the defensive side, Willie Gay Jr., the linebacker, had a neck injury going into the game, only played a little bit, then was ruled out. That's something to watch because he's their most athletic linebacker. And when you're dealing with Lamar Jackson, you're going to need that speed and athleticism out of your linebacker. So those are the 2 injuries that I would be a little concerned with, if anything, heading into the game against Baltimore.
Last thing for you real quick before we get you out of here. The stadium sales tax is going to appear on the April ballot. Legislators made the decision to override Frank White's veto. So now voters are going to get to decide whether or not, what is that, 3/8 or the 3/8 cent sales tax would fund stadiums for the Chiefs and Royals. Is it a foregone conclusion that voters will vote for this, or is this going to be an interesting thing coming up in April?
So normally I would say there's no question it'll pass, and I still think it likely does. You got the Chiefs tied to the Royals, which is a big deal. If it was just the Royals separately, I think there's a real question. However, at this point, between now and April 2nd, there's a lot of questions that still have to be answered, Matt. I mean, the location for the Royals still has not been determined. The team has promised the legislators and the county that they will let them know by February 29th. I believe early voting starts a week or so before that. There's still some question on exactly what the renovation would look like at Arrowhead. So there's questions that fairly need to be answered. But if you're asking me, if someone that does enjoy a little betting, at least on the Kansas side, sorry for those of you in Missouri, I would tell you I would bet on it passing, yes.
how much does Frank White's relationship or lack thereof with the Royals impact his veto?
Oh, I think it played a significant role in why this thing dragged out in as long as it did, and why he was interested in going with the veto. Because while at the end it seemed like he truly was trying to get some answers, there was plenty of reporting here locally for months that the teams were trying to meet, and perhaps those meetings weren't being scheduled or those calls weren't being answered. So I do think that was part of it. You know, there in fairness, there are questions the teams do need to still answer. But to block the people from even having a chance, which is what he was trying to do on the April ballot, I thought was ridiculous. So I am glad to see the veto was overturned, and we'll see what happens between now and April. And it's on the teams now. The pressure's on the teams to provide the public with the information that I think is needed.
He is Alex Gold. He is a host on 610 Sports in Kansas City, our sister station. Alex, always appreciate you taking some time with us. I'm sure we'll talk again real soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. There's Alex Gold joining us. Up next, Jay Jaffe talks about the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's a Grey Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Clutter and junk have got you cornered.
Every time you turn around, there's more than there was before.
You barely have room to move.
You're so crowded, it's hard to breathe.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point. Now you breathe fresh air. Freedom.
Now you've got the breath to sing.
Now you've got the space to entertain.
Now you've got a big home.
A happy home.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman for the Bath Authority. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold and mildew, or broken tiles, you have to call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. It comes with a lifetime warranty, walk-in tubs, replacement showers, tub-to-shower conversions, and more. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
With the new year, it's time to make sure you have the best vision for 2024. That means scheduling your annual eye exam with Ophthalmology Associates. Call 314-966-5000.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together millions of things for our planet. This new year, make some resolutions that will improve the environment. Resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans. Reuse paper and plastic bags and get a reusable bag for groceries. Recycle old clothes by donating them to charity. And recycle old electronics like TVs, computers, and cell phones at appropriate e-waste facilities. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jewels on Hampton your first stop. Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
I was afraid to cut the cord, but once I did, I couldn't believe it took so long to do it. Paying too much for my cable bill had become a bad habit. I either wasn't getting what I wanted or never knew where to find any of my favorite shows until it was too late. Plus, the prices just kept going up. Thankfully, I discovered a new way to watch called Philo. For just $25 a month, I can catch all my favorite shows on networks like BET, MTV, and TLC. It even has Nickelodeon for my kids. I can watch anytime I want, anywhere I want. Plus, Philo lets me have up to 3 streams at once, so everyone can watch what they want at the same time. Throw in the unlimited DVR that saves all my favorites for up to a year, and this really is the best deal in TV. I just wish I hadn't waited so long. Sound too good to be true? Well, try it out for yourself, and you'll see why people who love TV love Philo. Go to philo.tv, that's philo.tv, and start your 7-day free trial now.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. No one should be injured or be the victim of assault When using a rideshare service, these companies need to be held accountable.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-900,000 to learn more.
This is the Graybar Sports Open Line.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
On America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Back at it here on a Graybar Sports Open Line. My name's Matt Pauley. We are so happy who we're going to be able to talk to here in just a moment or so. Today is a very busy day for him. The Hall of Fame class being announced as the Baseball Hall of Fame officially announcing Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, and Todd Hilton are officially Hall of Famers. Billy Wagner coming up just a little bit short. Nobody better to talk to than Jay Jaffe. He is the writer of the Cooperstown Casebook. He's also creator of the JAWS metric. That's a great metric to use when assessing Hall of Fame candidates. You follow him on Twitter at J_JAFFE. Jay, appreciate you taking the time with us today. How are you?
Hey, thanks. It's good to be here.
Were you pleased with the results of the voting?
Yeah, I felt a little bit of pain for Billy Wagner missing by just 5 votes, but very happy to see the Hall get 3 new candidates or 3 new honorees, and particularly happy given that I pushed hard both for Todd Helton, even in his early sluggish days on the ballot, and Joe Mauer, who I strongly felt should go in this year at the first opportunity.
CJ Nitkowski tweeted out just a little while ago saying that 2 writers sent in ballots with just Manny Ramirez and Alex Rodriguez on them, and then there were 3 voters who voted for him last year but not this year, and it's 5 votes that Wagner misses out by. That just goes to show you how close and how every single one of these votes can matter.
Yeah, it's extremely close. In fact, Joe Mauer just made it by 4 votes.
Yeah.
So, we had 2 results within 5, and that actually parallels 2017 when Trevor Hoffman missed by 5 votes and Ivan Rodriguez made it by 4 votes. It's almost uncanny how that worked out. But every vote matters. There's no question about it. And while we track, while the tracker. Ryan Thibodeau's ballot tracker has certainly increased the transparency leading up to election. I believe there were 218 ballots published before the election. There was still a great deal of uncertainty going in for everybody but Beltre. I mean, Mauer looked likely to get it. Helton looked probably to get it, but he did not have the number of flips from no to yes that we typically see from a candidate who's about to go over the top, and likewise for Wagner. And we knew it was going to be close, and it just didn't break his way.
For so long, there was the anti-Colorado bias, and that started to go away probably with Larry Walker getting in, and now Todd Helton gets in. That was the only ballpark that there was a bias on. There's other players who had skill sets that would fit certain ballparks, and nobody was dinging them for that. Is it good to see that that Helton gets in and people can really look at his numbers for what they were?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we have advanced statistics that help to adjust for the inflated stats that we see at Coors Field. And you can't just take it by looking at a guy's road stats and saying, oh, this is what he really is. We've seen example after example. I mean, Matt Holliday's road stats were nothing special before he got to St. Louis. And you and your listeners certainly saw what kind of player he was. So yeah, I think it's good. It bodes well down the road for Nolan Arenado when he hits the ballot. He's definitely on a Hall of Fame track right now, and I expect that someday we'll be having a conversation about his qualifications as a first-year candidate. But I'm very pleased that Helton was recognized in this capacity, just like Walker.
Like you allude to, we all knew that Beltre was going to get in. Are you surprised that Helton ended up getting more votes than Mauer?
Maybe a little bit, but not by much. I mean, there's a bias against first ballot election from those writers who don't publish their ballots in general. They tend to be much more conservative in that regard. And really, I mean, if you look at it, there's only 2 catchers that have ever been elected by the writers on the first ballot. And that's Johnny Bench and Ivan Rodriguez. It's ridiculous. I mean, Yogi Berra had to wait till his second year. And then we're talking about a guy who was a 3-time MVP and 10-time champion. Carlton Fisk, who retired with the all-time record for games caught, had to wait a second year. Mike Piazza, 4 years. It goes on and on. So it's just kind of ridiculous how sluggish it's been. But I'm glad to see Mauer recognized.
Does Joe Mauer going in his first year on the ballot impact Yadier Molina and his opportunity to go in on his first year once he gets placed on the ballot?
I think it bodes well for Molina. I think it also bodes well for Buster Posey, who I think has probably a more similar resume to Mauer than Molina. Molina's got the longevity. Both of those cases, though, are going to, I think, hinge on the electorate's understanding of the way pitch framing added considerable value to their careers. The version of JAWS that I use does not, the wins above replacement version within that for Baseball Reference does not incorporate pitch framing, but I've made several efforts in connection with the advancing careers of Molina and Buster Posey and Russell Martin, who I believe is eligible next year, to show how pitch framing elevates their value and puts them within the range of other value of other catchers from years past.
What's your gut feeling say on Molina as a first year ballot Hall of Famer? Do you think it's probably at the end of the day, is it probably going to take him a couple of years?
It's tough to say. I mean, if Mauer barely made it, I can't promise you that Molina's going to make it first. His candidacy, I think, looms as kind of a polarizing one. Taking away what we've got, what we've learned about Omar Vizquel in the years since he, first landed on the ballot, the unsavory allegations against him. His was a fairly polarizing candidacy at first, because the traditional statistics and the advanced statistics showed very different things, and to voters who were trying to make up their minds. And I think that's somewhat true with Molina as well. High hit total, but not a great hitter. When you look at like OPS plus, doesn't do great in traditional wins above replacement, but does very well once you look at pitch framing, things like that. It's going to be a process of educating voters. It may not all happen in a single year.
Jay Jaffe is continuing to join us. Gary Sheffield in his 10th year on the ballot. He comes up short. His numbers look Hall of Fame worthy, and I know there's some PED connection to him, not as much as other players in baseball. Do you think he at some point does get in via the Eras Committee?
I think at some point, as I always say, never is a very, very long time, and it's difficult to imagine that at some point down the road, or it's easy to imagine that at some point down the road, attitudes will have changed. It may not be in my lifetime. I don't know, but it may not be in Sheffield's lifetime. But I do think eventually, at some point, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Gary Sheffield, maybe some others will be in the Hall of Fame. I think it's less likely that players who were suspended for PED usage, such as Alex Rodriguez and Manny Ramirez, were, because we've got such definitive proof on them. But I think there's probably going to be, maybe some relaxation of the hardline stance institutionally at some point.
We obviously saw Scott Rowland get in last year, and his ballot candidacy from year to year, he started with a very small number and kept moving up and up. Who is the individual that maybe is pretty low on the list right now that you think has a chance to eventually get in?
Chase Utley. Chase Utley got 28.8% this year, his first on the ballot. I have him 12th in JAWS among second basemen, right around the average of the Hall second baseman. And I strongly felt that he should be elected. I'm not surprised he fared so sluggishly. The big problem for him is a relatively short career, including just 1,885 hits. No player with fewer than 2,000 in the post-1960 expansion era has been elected by the writers yet. So it's kind of a race between Andrew Jones, who's in the low 60%, and Utley, who obviously just debuted to get there. I think it'll probably be Jones, but once that seal is broken, like I said, it could be Posey too. Once that seal is broken, I think we'll see all of those guys recognized.
Do a lot of writers talk to you and throw things off of you during this time? Because you're so well known for being on top of this, and obviously your JAWS metric is important, and people can look that up. But what kind of conversations are you having during this balloting period?
Oh yeah, I do talk to a lot of writers. Sometimes they call me, even guys I haven't spoken to all year long. They'll call me and maybe ask me, they want to bounce a couple ideas off of me or see what I think about this, especially if it's a candidate I haven't gotten to in my profile series yet. But I have a confidential consultation service, as I like to say. I won't drop any names, but there's some people who I've been reading for years, and I'm very flattered at the attention that they give my stuff, and a lot of people whose opinions I value are looking to me, and it's really an honor to contribute to the process that way. But sometimes I think many people understand how to use JAWS and use the leaderboards on Baseball Reference, but sometimes they just want a little bit of a sanity check, for that last spot on the ballot. Like, hey, I'm thinking of this. Does this make sense? And they're checking not only for based on the metrics, but also trying to see if there's a logical coherence. Because I think if I've left any impact on this process, I'd like to think that it's more than just looking at a given number or two. It's trying to make sure within this transparency, or within this effort towards transparency, that there is at least some logical thread that runs through your ballot. Like, I'm voting for these PED guys because of this, or I'm not voting for these guys because of this, or something like that. And sometimes voters bounce that off of me.
He is Jay Jaffe, senior writer with Fangraphs. Jay, appreciate that. I know this is a very busy day for you and a lot of requests. So thank you for finding time for us. We really appreciate it.
Okay, sure thing.
You bet. That's Jay Jaffe joining us here on the program. One more break. We'll come back and wrap up the program, get you all set for and at your service tonight with Mike Elam. He'll join us in just a moment to preview what's going to be going on in his show. That's up next. It's Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. When you're injured and in your darkest hour, Onder Law is not only on your side, we're by your side.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
This is Christina Straight with Straight Realty reminding you, why pay more than $4? In 2003, we had a dream to start a real estate company that would revolutionize the real estate market. Now, 20 years later, after navigating through the many markets' ups and downs, we know exactly how to help you in this challenging time. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Don't give away your hard-earned equity. Give us a call today, 314-441-4444, 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than $4?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri. Are you noticing that after sitting for long periods that your body isn't as limber as it was? Feeling your age? ConsumersHempMD.com. That's consumers with an S. HempMD.com is an educational website to explain the natural aging process leading to symptoms like memory loss, joint discomfort, aches and pains, sleep disorders, and other ailments. ConsumersHempMD.com. Visit us for possible ways you can find relief from the natural aging process. ConsumersHempMD.com.
Human trafficking is happening right here in Missouri. You can help combat it by learning the signs of human trafficking and reporting suspicious activity to law enforcement. Victims may appear malnourished, show signs of physical or mental abuse, or avoid social interaction. If you're a victim or know someone who needs help, contact the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 or text the word HELP to Be Free. Together, we can stop human trafficking in Missouri.
Brought to you by the Missouri Attorney General's Office.
Ring in the new year with the ultimate timeless gift, a diamond from Diamonds Direct. Whether you're ready to pop the question or celebrating a lifetime of love in 2024, Diamonds Direct can make this New Year's one to remember forever. Diamonds Direct is the area's destination for exquisite diamonds in all shapes and sizes, and our nationwide price guarantee ensures you'll get the best value, period. To showcase that spectacular diamond, we have literally thousands of designer settings from all the top names like Tacori, Verragio, Simon G, A. Jaffe, and many more. And our experts will guide you every step of the way with the education you want and the respect you deserve. Engagement rings, wedding bands, eternity bands, fashion rings. At Diamonds Direct, we specialize in the ultimate symbol of love, and we welcome the opportunity to celebrate with you. So start the new year with some new excitement, new hope, and some new bling. Diamonds Direct. At Olive and 270, official partner of the St. Louis Blues and proud to call the Gateway City home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Nobody wants a surprise in their jelly donut. It's toothpaste? That's because the middle is the most important part. At Graybar, we're at the middle of electrical and datacom jobs across the country, connecting installers, facility managers, and business owners with smart solutions for their most challenging projects, which means stocking and delivering crucial products on time and on budget with no surprises, thanks to our nationwide logistics network. Yep, Graybar does that.
Get deals on what you need during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Right now, save $20 on select 5-gallon ceiling paint or primer by HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams. Plus, get 15% off and earn 3 times bonus points when you buy 4 or more Purdy products. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken in time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts if any. Valid 1/15 through 1/26. Subject to change.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa"?
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at yourheartcomesfirst.com. That's yourheartcomesfirst.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
News Radio KMOX, the home of the Cardinals.
Back at it on KMOX. It is a Graybar Sports Open Line. My name is Matt Pauley. Just a couple minutes left in the program. Our good friend Mike Elam in the house. He's got At Your Service tonight, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Mike, always good to see you. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thanks for letting me sit in for a couple of minutes.
I got a text message that we were talking about the Chiefs, and I mentioned Taylor Swift because you can't talk about the Chiefs without mentioning Taylor Swift. And a text message from the 256, I can't read, says, "When I'm listening to a sports talk show and the name Taylor Swift is mentioned, I immediately turn the sound down so I don't have to hear any of that talk like I did a minute ago."
Well, then we'll talk about Jason Kelce. How's that?
That's good. He was taking his shirt off, doing all kinds of things. That was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. It was a really good weekend of football.
It really was. And I'm looking forward to this coming weekend. I think this is my favorite weekend of football.
It is. It's mine too. Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. You know, I heard some guy yesterday on an FM station say that.
It's I was on with you yesterday on 97.1 FM Talk. You were filling in for Andy Fry over there. It's 2 Super Bowl caliber games without the craziness of the Super Bowl. If you're just a football head, you get to just sit down and watch 2 fantastic games.
And I think everybody is secretly, unless you're a San Francisco person, everybody's pulling for Detroit to make it.
I would agree with that.
Like, they just want to see Detroit get in there and get a shot. You know, everybody's excited, and I'm excited because I'm going to have some Razorbacks in the Super Bowl either way.
Okay.
Doesn't happen often, so that's going to be good.
Now, you got about a minute left. Take me through what's going to be going on your show tonight.
Man, we've got a full lineup of guests. We're going to talk a little bit about the New Hampshire primary, of course.
Yep.
George Harusa is going to join us. He is running for state rep. We have got Mark Harder, who's St. Louis County Council. We're going to talk about the Alzheimer's Walk, believe it or not. Did you know the Alzheimer's Walk in St. Charles is one of the largest in the country?
I did not.
So there you go. We're going to talk about that. We got all kinds of stuff that's lined up. So tune in, hang in. We're going to be to 10 o'clock tonight.
Awesome. So Mike Elam's up next. Tomorrow, we do not have a sports open line. SLU Billikens basketball, their game starts at 6, so they'll have a 5:45 pregame. I'll be back with you on Thursday for the Countdown to Opening Day show. I'm going to have Brad Thompson on. We're going to be recording that over at Cardinal Nation on Thursday at 12 o'clock. So if you want to meet Brad, you can stop on by Cardinal Nation at 12 o'clock on Thursday. That's it for a Graybar Sports Open Line. We'll talk to you on Thursday here on KMOX.
Hey guys, it's Glover here for my friends at Zero Res. Happy New Year. Happy 2024 to you. It is a time of renewal. It's a time of making resolutions